Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Hack, and in this video we'll be reviewing my top picks for the best beginner classes in the Elder Scrolls Online. All of these options are extremely powerful at any level and can be used to play solo or in a group in multiple different playstyles, including stamina builds, magicka builds, in PvE or PvP. So if you're looking for a strong class that's also flexible and easy to play, then this is the video for you. So let's jump right into it. There are 6 classes currently available in the Elder Scrolls Online, each with a different set of class skills, passives, and their own unique identity. Now I say this because some players focus entirely on a class's identity and theme without really understanding the mechanics, the abilities, or passives that make the class what it is. This is especially challenging when you are a new player because you won't get the full experience of playing that class until you unlock all those abilities at later levels. And what you get at the end game is not always what you'd expect from simply picking a class based on its theme. Again, classes are not just themes. Class power is defined by looking at their unique skills and passives and what you can do with those to make a build that works for you. So that being said, every class on our list here has a strong combination of both skills and passives that work together in different situations that can make for very easy builds, especially for beginners. These classes have good enough damage, healing, and survivability to play solo, but also enough power to specialize in group content either as damage dealers, healers, or tanks. And more important than that, these classes also have unique skills that serve more than one function. For example, they might have a skill that does damage and heals you back at the same time, or a skill that buffs your armor and also your resource recovery at the same time. This makes these classes the easiest to get started with because you don't have to worry about as many abilities, and you can even play these classes with just one skill bar if you want to. That's how powerful their abilities are. Wardens are ESO's true masters of nature. They have the ability to summon animal companions to do damage for them. They can heal themselves and allies with spores and vines, and also protect themselves and others with frost magic. Many powerful abilities belong to the Warden class, so let's go over some of the best and why they work so well. First, in the Animal Companion skill line, Wardens have one of the strongest damage skills in the game in Subterranean Assault or Deep Fissure. This skill does AoE damage, meaning it can hit multiple enemies at once, which is great for clearing through enemies in PvE encounters. Also, the fact that this ability is timed makes it a powerful burst combination option for PvP builds, because you can layer that damage on top of damage from other skills, hitting enemies at the same time. Then you have Growing Swarm and Fetcher Infection, great damage over time skills that also provide a debuff. And you also have Bird of Prey, which is a great option for mobility and increased damage, again providing multiple buffs in one skill to keep things really simple. In the Green Balance skill line, Wardens have many great options for both self-healing and group healing, meaning you'll be able to solo many encounters on the Warden class, but you can also specialize as a healer to compete in tougher group dungeons, trials even if you want. Stamina Wardens, for example, have a really unique AoE burst heal called Soothing Spores, one of the few stamina-based heals in the game. Wardens also have lots of passive healing such as Green Lotus and Lotus Blossom. These trigger heals based on your light and heavy attacks, which means in many cases you don't even need to think about your own healing, which makes staying alive on the Warden even easier. And speaking of staying alive, Wardens have many fantastic defensive skills located in the Winter's Embrace skill line. For example, Ice Fortress provides 2 defensive buffs in one. You have your armor buff and then minor protection on top of that. Then you have skills like Arctic Blast, which is an AoE stun and also a self-heal, as well as Shimmering Shield. This is a damage shield that absorbs projectiles while also giving you major heroism to buff your ultimate generation. Yeah, this class is pretty strong. Now, as far as starter builds go on the Warden, again, the flexibility of this class means you can fit nearly any role in the game. That's what's so great about it. Now, one of my personal favorites is the Stamina Warden bow build, which uses many of the Animal Companion skills that have stamina morphs for that range damage, and then combining that with bow skills, again, stamina, range, damage. You have a nice synergy there. Throw in that Wild Guardian ultimate, aka the Bear Pet, and you've got a seriously fun build. The Templar is ESO's go-to holy warrior class with an emphasis on the power of the sun, healing, and defensive skills. Much like the Warden, the Templar's strong ability for self-healing or healing a group, as well as strong defensive buffs, mean you can pretty much do anything you want in the Elder Scrolls Online, whether you want to play solo or run group content, PvE or PvP. The Templar class can literally do it all. What makes the Templar a great choice for beginners is, again, that high concentration of defensive and healing abilities combined with really strong passives. Some of the best in the game. Now, since I mentioned passives, let's actually start there. A lot of players overlook passives in ESO, but it's really what makes the class what it is and defines that playstyle. For example, Templar's main spammable skill, you either have Biting Jabs or Puncturing Sweep. It's not only an amazing damage skill, but also grants multiple passive bonuses for using it. You got the Spear Wall passive for free minor protection, and then you have the Burning Light passive for even more free damage on top of an already powerful ability. The Dawn's Wrath skill line also has many great passives that will make your first class even easier to play, including cost reduction through Restoring Spirit, and extra ultimate generation through Prism. The Templar class also has one of the game's only sources of minor sorcery that's 10% extra spell damage to you and your entire group just from using Dawn's Wrath skills. And on top of that, you also have one of the strongest Magicka-based executes in the game, that's Radiant Glory or Radiant Oppression. But if you're interested in the stamina build, Power of the Light from the Dawn's Wrath skill line is also an incredibly strong burst skill that also debuffs your enemies' resistances. Finally, let's talk about the healing and defensive capabilities of the Templar, which make it such a strong choice for beginner builds in ESO. Of course, we have to talk about Breath of Life and Honor the Dead, which is one of the best Magicka-based burst heals in the game. You also have Repentance, which makes for an amazing heal and sustain tool for stamina Templar builds. Then you've got Extended Ritual. This is fantastic for PvP specifically, both stamina and Magicka builds, as this will remove negative effects from you and your allies. And then finally, we've got Channeled Focus and Restoring Focus. This gives us 50% increased armor and gives us bonus sustain in one single ability. So as you can see, just tons and tons of amazing build options with the Templar class. Some of my favorite are, of course, the Stamina Templar, which is a great PvE DPS option, but it's also one of my favorite PvP classes, really fun to play. And if you want a Magicka build, of course, Templars make fantastic healers, all the way from level 1 when you unlock Rush Ceremony, all the way to endgame. So throw on some Magicka gear, grab your heals, and you'll have a great group build too. Finally, let's talk about our number one class for beginners in ESO. That, of course, is the Sorcerer class. Sorcerers have some of the most powerful skills and passives in the game, but what really separates them from other classes, in my opinion, is how most of these skills give you either automatic damage or automatic healing without even having to think about it. Let me explain. First, let's talk about the Daedric Summoning skill line, which is all about summoning Daedric pets to do damage for you. These pets are fairly unique in that you have to keep the skill slotted on both your main skill bar and your backup skill bar, but the trade-off for that is that your pet is always there for you and it never needs to be recasted as long as the pet stays alive. This means as soon as you enter combat, your pets are already doing damage for you without you even having to press a button. Of course, your pets also have additional special effects which you can use, such as the stun from the Volatile Familiar, and even a massive group heal from the Twilight Matriarch, which makes these skills even more powerful. From passive damage, let's talk about passive healing. Both Stamina Sorcerers and Magicka Sorcerers can make use of the skill called Critical Surge. This is, in my opinion, probably the best passive heal in the game. Not only does it increase your overall damage, but it gives you free healing every 1 second as long as you're doing crit damage. Again, passive healing that you don't have to think about, that is awesome. Another strength of the Sorcerer class that I haven't even mentioned is their speed and mobility that comes from the Storm Calling skill line. For Stamina Sorcerer builds, the Hurricane skill, this applies Minor Expedition. And for Magicka Sorcerers, you have Boundless Storm. This gives you a short burst of Major Expedition for even more speed. And then both of these also apply Major Resolve. That's your armor buff, about 6,000 armor there. And don't forget about the Streak ability. This skill can be used by both Magicka and Stamina Sorcerers to get out of trouble or to even quickly stun enemies in front of you. And it's a great skill, especially for PvP. Now, speaking of PvP, if you're interested in that playstyle, then a Magicka Sorcerer or a Stamina Sorcerer, that's going to be a great choice because of the previously mentioned mobility, strong self-healing from Crit Surge, and possibilities for burst damage. Magsorc and Stamsorc, definitely some of my top picks for PvP if that's what you want to do. Now, in terms of PvE content and builds, as I've said, both Magicka and Stamina Sorcerer offer great build options for getting started. But if you want the ultimate easy mode beginner build for PvE content, then that's definitely the Magicka Sorcerer pet build. You'll want to check this out for a really easy time completing most content in the game. And if you're looking for something a little bit different, I actually have a Stamina Sorcerer pet build over on my website. This is a bow build that also uses the Unstable Clan Fear skill to tank for you. It's really unique, and I recommend you checking out that one as well if you're interested. Now, speaking of builds, if you'd like to see more about the easy beginner builds I've shared in this video, I will have a written guide with all of the recommended builds listed for each class over on my website. Just click on the link in the description below to get started. And with all that said, that's going to wrap up our list of the best beginner classes in the Elder Scrolls Online. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today and you found it informative. Of course, if you did, don't forget to crush that like button for me and subscribe to the channel for more ESO guides just like this one with those notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. If you'd like to support the channel further, there'll be links to my social media down below. As I mentioned, don't forget to check out hacktheminotaur.com. That is my website where I post written versions of all my builds. I also have several ESO guides there as well. Finally, during the month of November, we are rolling out some new members-only builds right here on HTM. If you're interested in that, click on that join button for more information. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there, and I will see you around in the next video.